do you think about it? Because, one thing that I've noticed that you've done, I've noticed Quackity has done this as well, is that you both have created second Twitter accounts that seem like just more personal, or what's the deal? What's the thought behind having the second Twitter account?
So there's stuff in my brain that I want to put out in the world that I had no outlet for. So I typically just put that on my second Twitter, and so the people that want to follow that Twitter can, but like it doesn't mess with like my overall brand or anything when I'm tweeting on my main account.
So that's something that Matt, you brought up in our last podcast that you wanted to talk about in a future episode, which is the difference between people's online persona and who they are, in real life. I think that's a perfect example of your kind of hypothesis there of how that can change depending on what brand you settle into as a creator or an influencer or whatever, as opposed to the person behind it.
But you do it too, Kevin. I mean, you do one thing when you tweet on Vsauce2 and on the socials and stuff. And it's not like it's a different person so much as it's different stuff where you're sticking to Vsauce2 related.
It's more you're just putting out a different. It's the same theory behind putting out two different YouTube channels, because you're just providing different content, quote unquote. I mean, as much as content you can fit in a tweet, you're putting different stuff out there into the world. So for the people that want to see that, you have a different location for it, so that it's not all melded together.
Is one more real than the other, I guess, is my question at this point, because I think of my personal Twitter tweets as being closer to who I am, I think, than my Vsauce2 tweets. What are your thoughts on that?
My main Twitter is jokes, generally. Whereas my second Twitter is anything else, like anything else that's interesting to me, or like stream updates, or jokes that don't fit the main Twitter. It's just everything else. Whereas my main Twitter, it's just I tweet a joke a day and then I leave it, or like I respond to goofy tweets that I see, or if I'm promoting something, it's all for that. But as far as what's more real, I mean, they're both really me, but like I'm putting more of myself out there on the second Twitter, I would say.
Do you regret opening up on second Twitter at all?
Yes and no. I'm glad to have the outlet, but I think it's kind of weird that I don't know, it kind of started off pretty small, but now it's obviously got a lot more followers, so I have to think about it again of what I'm tweeting. So I mean, it's fine. I like having it. I like being able to just put myself out there more and just be able to spam an account with my stupid thoughts. But I don't think I necessarily regret it.